have to tell you, that last break blew my mind. We're going to have those guys back on Monday, hopefully, and finish that conversation. We're talking this hour about possible worst-case scenarios for America, and I have to tell you, fall to your knees and pray that God, we humble ourselves and we reconnect with God. How does he even fit in? Ben Sherwood is the author of The Survivors Club. He's here with me now. Ben, you are actually the inspiration for this this segment. I had you on my radio program. Had planned, I think, spending about 10 minutes with you, spent an hour with you. And what you learned from survivors is stunning, and it was two things. And let me just speak the first one, and that is think the unthinkable, and you have a better chance of surviving. And two, the role of God in this scenario. Explain this. What did you find out from survivors?
Talking to survivors for the last few years, I was always surprised when I came upon the central role of faith in people's overcoming incredible adversity. And today, when I called one of the Air Force's top survival experts to ask about some of the scenarios we're discussing today on this program, this is one of these guys who is a serious dude and a serious survival expert. And I said, what is the one thing you need to deal with the things, these unimaginable things in 2014 that you've described today in the program? And his answer was very simple. He said faith in God, faith in family, faith in friends. That faith is the only thing that matters because, frankly, in 5 years from now, in the scenarios you've described, money won't be worth anything. You'll be on your own, and it's going to be up to your faith in God and your family and friends and your neighbors to get together and deal with what you have to deal with.
So, Ben, look, I mean, when I started talking about this stuff a few years ago, I was a nut job, and I admit that I don't want to think these things. It's just what I really truly believe might happen to us, and we just need to be prepared, and we can get off this road if we just look at where it's leading us. But I mean, it wasn't easy saying these things or preparing yourself or your family. What is the average person? Give the average person, I don't know, spine for being different and thinking the unthinkable and just following their gut.
The survivors I interviewed, these are the most effective survivors in the world who have overcome every imaginable crisis, from economic to health. These are people who truly beat the odds. The members of the Survivors Club share an attitude, it's a mentality, and I think that one of the things that you're talking about, Glenn, is that we need to rewire ourselves. We need to rewire ourselves to deal with some of these high consequence events that you've outlined today.
Give me the analogy of how people are being rewired in California.
So I live in Los Angeles on one of the world's most active geologic fault lines, and there are 30 million plus of us here, and the government for the last 30 years has been pounding into our heads that there is a low probability, high consequence event of the big one, a big earthquake coming. And slowly but surely, we have rewired ourselves to actually embrace that idea, and so many of us now have some food at home in the event of a quake, so if we get cut off. Many of us carry around tennis shoes in our cars and a survival kit in our cars. Many of us have flashlights, so we're ready in the event that a big one comes.
Okay, America, I'm going to talk you down off the ledge. Next. We're back with Survivors Club author Ben Sherwood on this hour of War Gaming. Ben, had you on the radio today, and I took your test, and it's up on my website at glennbeck.com. There are 5 kinds of survivors. Can you name them real quick?
Fighter, that's what you are, Glenn.
Yeah.
Thinker, that's what one of your producers is. Realist, connector, and believer. These are the 5 common personality types in survival situations, and those are the personality types that would come up in the scenarios you've described.
Are there people that are not any of those? They're just followers, or?
I think everybody fits into one of these categories. Some people have more of the strengths, like that purpose-driven, competitive fighter personality. Some people are more thinkers. They think their way through problems.
Is there one
Everybody's one of them.
Is there one that's better than the other?
No, every single one of these personality types can get through the toughest times.
Okay, and this goes, really, your book is absolutely fantastic, and if you haven't read The Survivors Club, you have to. He went around for, how long did you do this? 2 years?
A couple years.
Yeah, and talked to survivors from every possible, I mean, from a woman being eaten by a lion to an economic collapse. And How did they survive? And you will find yourself in there, and you will gain an awful lot of hope. You can get this test and take it if you sign up for the free email newsletter at glennbeck.com, or find it at glennbeck.com itself and take the test. Ben, thank you very much. My take-home message next. If you believe this country was founded on divine providence, like our founders did, you believe that freedom was important enough that God got personally involved. That's why this country was set up in a very specific way. Our rights and our liberties, they come to us from God, and then we lend them for protection to the government. But if you believe in those ideals, it would make sense, at least to me, that God would give us some sort of an early warning system. You know, that is your gut. I think most Americans are saying, gosh, something doesn't seem right. Don't dismiss that. That is a warning system. Will all of these or any of these scenarios happen? I don't know. I hope not. But what I do know is what we did here tonight isn't crazy, and you're not crazy to ponder them. As I told you at the beginning of the show, 2 administrations met last month to war game about a set of coordinated IED attacks. Our government thinks it needs to be prepared for the worst case scenario. Why would it be crazy for you to want to do the same thing? You not only have a right to prepare yourselves mentally and physically, you have a responsibility. We're entering a time where you need to listen to your gut. You need to ask reasonable questions, honest questions, and calmly and logically prepare yourself for the worst. And when it doesn't happen, everything else is gravy. The future isn't written yet, but we need to be ready. You begin writing it right now. We'll cover all of this and a lot more on my radio show on Monday. Go to glennbeck.com to find an affiliate near you. We will see you Monday, right back here from New York. Good night, America.